Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, it is terribly sad what's happened in this country in the last few weeks and in the last few years, frankly. I was a federal prosecutor when Columbine happened and was part of a group that went into the school the day after. And what I saw was terrible. I had young children in school, and it impacted me and those with me and frankly, all of America. Living in Colorado, I've also experienced the Aurora School shooting, or I'm sorry, the Aurora Theater shooting up close, and certainly recently the Boulder grocery store shooting. But one thing I've learned from law enforcement, and one thing I've learned from being involved in these particular shootings, and also observing what's happening in our country, these laws will not help the situation. And frankly, I will vote against the bill that has been proposed. It is a problem when we tell the American people that we have solutions, and we don't have easy solutions for what's happening right now. We need to hold hearings. We need to examine the underlying causes. There are some ideas that I think would be helpful in terms of hardening schools, and some other ideas. Gun-free school zones have been a failure. Gun-free zones have been a failure. The Aurora Theater shooting, there were a dozen premieres of the Batman movie the night of the Aurora Theater shooting within a few miles of where that shooting occurred. That shooting occurred in a gun-free zone, and the other premieres were not in gun-free zones. Did the shooter take that into account? I don't know. But it's clear that disarming Americans is not a way to reduce gun violence. We've seen assault weapons bans. The assault weapon ban that was in place, the federal assault weapon ban that was in place for 10 years, we saw a violent gun crime increase during that time. It did not reduce violent gun crime in America. These bills that have been presented, the Safe Storage Act, Ethan's Law, Safe Guns, Safe Kids Act, Closing the Bump Stock, Keep Americans Safe Act, would not have prevented what happened in the last 3 shootings and many other shootings. We have a serious problem involving family, involving drugs, involving mental health in this country. We have gone the wrong direction in the last 40 or 50 years. We have become a less safe society generally. Blaming the gun for what's happening in America is small-minded. It is unfortunate that we can't come together as a group of well-thought-through legislators that want to deal with this problem, pointing the fingers at each other and saying, well, you're only doing this because you're trying to gain political points on the heels of a dangerous shooting, and then for you to tell us that, well, we're controlled by the NRA. I voted against the NRA. I'll vote against the NRA when I think they're wrong. I'm representing my constituents. In rural Colorado, an AR-15 is a gun of choice for killing raccoons before they get to our chickens. It is a gun of choice for killing a fox. It is a gun that you control predators on your ranch, on your farm, on your property. The idea that somehow we're going to deny access to, I think there are 20 million AR-15s in circulation in this country. It makes absolutely no sense, and it's unfortunate. I think that there are other answers. We've certainly in Colorado, we have discussed the possibility of incentivizing veterans who come back from the military or discharged from the military to go into education and teach and be able to carry guns in a school as a teacher, as an administrator, as a coach, trying to help to strengthen our system. I think we've got to get beyond the finger pointing at this point. I think we've got to get to the point where we're holding hearings, and I hope when Republicans take the majority in November, that in January, we will start to hold hearings and come up with answers that are meaningful, not answers where we tell the American public we've solved the problem. We're going to make sure that there's no guns in schools, so law-abiding citizens don't have guns in schools, but criminals do. We want to make sure that we get to the bottom line of a very complex and very serious problem that this country faces. And I hope we do in the future. It's obvious to me that right now that's not what's intended, and it's sad. And I yield back.